What's up, guys? Welcome to Grant Speaks Canes. If you're rocking with you, then you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on a video. Mario Talks with Joe Rose. We're going to dive right into this. If you want to see the Joe Rose shows without me interrupting, I will put a link in the description. But let's see what Mario has to see after Miami's 45-3 victory over Bethune-Cookman. Let's go.
Well, Miami Hurricanes head coach joins us this morning. Taking care of business 45-3. And, Coach, I'm guessing as we start this thing with the numbers and being able to play so many guys, put in all that work, families get to see them, pretty important stuff to get some guys some experience right off the bat like that.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Joe. We had the opportunity to take almost an entire half and develop a half of our roster. And so guys got significant playing time up in the play count of 30 to 35 reps per guy. And certainly found we developed a handful of more guys that we know could help us win this season.
You know, I'm standing next to you. You know, it's funny. I go back. This happened a couple of times. So I'm standing with you at practice. We're right next to each other. And this guy playing center field makes a great break on the ball.
Fitz!
And you're going, man, this is a guy from Columbus, Bryce Fitzgerald. He wasn't here for spring, but, boy, he sure covers ground. It goes over and makes this unbelievable interception. I know it's just a practice, and you say, wow, this is going to be an interesting one. Well, it's gotten more than interesting. This kid can play, huh?
Without question, man. He was one of the guys that actually upon arrival here a couple years ago, he was like my first high school stop. I mean, again, in the fall. After that it was the number one mention. Bryce Fitzgerald is a must-get guy. He's a difference maker. And watching him play in high school and knowing him just as a young man, it's no surprise that he's caught on so quickly. He's been a great addition, and he's catching on really quickly and going to be a factor down the road here.
I got to give a shout-out to the media that gives us the stories. You know, Canes Insight, Canes 24/7, the Through the Smoke podcast. Everybody who's at the practices that gives us the little tidbits, Locked on Canes, my boy Gio, shout out to you. Because they say things and, you know, I really feel like they're giving us honest information. There are a couple programs out there that I'm hearing the news that they're breaking and the players they're talking about. Then the season comes and you never hear from those players or the things that they said didn't come true. I'm listening to some of the names that was said throughout camp. And one of them was Bryce Fitzgerald. And I'm like, this young buck, is he really like that? And what happens? The first game, he actually gets snaps. In the second game, he actually makes a very, very nice interception. Yeah, it was against Bethune-Cookman, but it was how he broke on the ball. It was how he glided through the air and picked it off. You know, they kept telling us about Malachi Tony. First game, Malachi Tony delivers. They said Carson Beck. So I want to give a shout out to those guys because so far, it seems like a lot of the names that they were talking about coming out of spring camp, even though it was confusing to me at times, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, you know, you hear them talk about a young guy like Bryce Fitzgerald, and I'm wondering, you know, are they just bringing him up to get us hype about the future, just getting us, just throwing names out there? No, you know, the coaches have talked about him, and then we actually see him making plays, and that's good to see.
Coach, when you get going to one of these games with Bethune-Cookman and you know, you're kind of counting on this, but at the same time, you want to get good work with your starters. You actually put a game plan together like, hey, guys, our goal is let's go out and play really well, and then I want to – how do you go about – because, you know, you get sloppy all of a sudden and you don't have the lead you want, and then things change a little bit. How do you do that, setting it all up, going into a game like a game with Bethune-Cookman?
Well, I think you started off with messaging. I mean, for us to accomplish our goals, we have to get better and better every single week. And, you know, in football is very unforgiving, man. You try to skip the steps, you're going to get your butt kicked. And
right.
That's the last thing you want. And, again, this team has a maturity about it where I think everyone understands there's a standard that we have to play to. We're not there yet, but we're not going to waste an opportunity to do so, and we're going to respect our opponent by playing our butts off at every opportunity.
Well, that's what it looked.
And like I know it's like, oh, they're playing Bethune-Cookman. Of course you're gonna blow them out, but like if you're a senior, especially an upperclassman, especially, these are games that you really want to pat the stats. You really want to feast. Because look, man, you don't get too many more of these. And your ultimate goal is to, you want to do great at Miami, but you want to do great at the next level. And every game matters. Every game that you're under the eye in the sky, it matters.
Like Carson.
For your goal, your personal goal, and team goals.
Carson Beck, man, what a start. Completes his first 15 passes, goes 22 of 24 for 264. Now you've seen him for 2 weeks. Your thoughts?
Special guy. I think we all knew that coming in, that his drive, determination, and hunger to be better, to help his teammates be the best they can be. Just a very driven human being who is great to be around, man. He's special.
It's so crazy to me because I ain't forget. I ain't forget what the message boards was saying. I ain't forget what the Danny Cannell was saying. I didn't forget what a lot of the pundits was saying about Carson Beck. So I'll never let them forget it. They told me Carson Beck was worried about Lamborghinis and girls. He didn't love the game of football. But when I watched the tape, this man got a secret handshake with every one of his teammates. This man is smiling. This man can't even get through an interview because he's so choked up. But y'all told me he only cared about money. Oh, man. Y'all told us that Carson Beck was damaged goods, basically. And what has he done? To me, he seems like a good teammate. To me, it seems like this really means something to him. To me, it seems like he's a quarterback that's out on a mission. And then when you look at his play, he's not a perfect quarterback. He's not perfect. But what I like about Carson Beck is he seems to know where he needs to go with the ball. Again, he's not perfect, but the ball comes out fast. He's bam, bam, bam. He's okay with checking it down to the running back, checking it down with the running back. I love that because in my eyes, if we keep getting positive yards when third down comes, we can hand this off and our O-line can bulldoze you over. The pass to CJ, he could have thrown the crosser. That's where I thought he was going because the crosser was open. But when he threw it to CJ, it was right. I have been very happy with what Carson Beck has done. But there is a long season. It is a very long season.
The backup quarterback, I thought this was really important for Emory Williams to get some work. I know it didn't end the way he wanted in the bowl game last year in the second half, and to get this work, get his confidence back. How's he look to you?
He's done a great job in practice. You got to see him that one day. He's slinging it all over the place. He's improved his athleticism. He's a diligent guy. Again, he's learned from Cam Ward and he's learning from Carson. And he himself is a high football IQ guy. I thought he's done a great job. We have complete confidence in him as well.
I like Emory. Shout out to Emory for sticking it through. For if something was to happen and we needed him to be QB1 for 1 or 2 games, I think with the talent that we have around him, he would be okay. If we're looking to the future, sitting here today, I don't know if I'm comfortable with saying like, okay, Carson's going to leave. Emory is going to be your job. No. I would always want to see who's out there in the transfer portal just to make sure.
So you talked about a lot of your young guys getting to play, and I was looking like Gilbert and Schott, your tight ends, got some work. I know you really like that position a lot and those young guys.
Yeah, no doubt. I know Luka caught himself a pass. He got blasted on one over the middle as well, but did a really good job in the run game. Elijah caught. Alex Bauman caught. Brock Schott got some burn. Gerard Pringle got himself a touchdown. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey ran the ball really hard, really well. The whole second team, part of the third team offensive line got to play. We played a lot of guys and got some really valuable reps.
How about some of the defensive linemen? I know I talk about Dante Simpson a lot because I know you really like him and his toughness. How do you?
Hey, Dante Simpson played a good game. He played a good game. I don't want to say it's not like I watched him every snap, but I remember there was 2 or 3 plays that I'm like, damn, he got in the backfield quick.
Dante did well. So did third Scroggins. Dalen Upshaw went in there on offense, but Dalen Russell on defense did a great job. Had a couple TFLs himself. At linebacker, Kellen Wiley stepped in, and we had a lot of guys playing, man. It's hard to keep count of the guys that did, but we do feel that, and aside from that, they all got some burn on special teams. So we didn't get to punt the ball, but on kickoff return, a couple of times we got a shot at it. We got a lot of guys that got some good playing time.
Coach, your top recruit last year by the ranking system, only by the ranking system, Hayden Lowe. How's he doing? What's going on there with him, Coach?
Yeah, he got banged up. And he's on the mend a little bit, so it might be a little while before he sees the field.
Yeah, okay.
Damn. That's the kiss of death. Huh? That's the kiss of death. We won't be seeing Hayden Lowe much. If Mario says that means we'll be seeing you next season, buddy. I hope I'm wrong, but we have heard Mario do these interviews with Joe Rose, and if a player is okay, Mario will basically say that. Wow. I hate that because Hayden Lowe was a guy that I was excited to see, but dang.
Okay. And, hey, listen, I got to ask you about a guy that I don't talk about enough. You do and I don't. And that is James Rockermeyer and how good he's been at center. You've done this transfer portal with that center position has been really good. So far, really good. Who's ever picking these guys has done a nice job, and he's grayed out really well, hasn't he?
He's been an absolute stud. It's in the bloodlines, obviously, but, man, his approach on the daily, he's down there like a complete pro every morning, getting activation done on his body, making sure that he's watching extra film, rounding up the guys. Whatever it takes to get our guys better, he's all about it. But, man, he's a complete pro, and he's playing some really good, hard physical football.
Hey, everybody saw. We're out of town, and they're going, you're not going to believe this one. Florida just lost at home to USF, and the first thought I had,
I believed it,
where the Gator guys are all pissed off, was this the best thing ever happened for Miami to realize? Not that you needed to know after the way they played you in the first half last year, but getting ready for now a team that's ranked in the top 20. What a great story South Florida's been.
Yeah, they're probably not ranked high enough, quite honestly. Just haven't played them before, and watching the continual development of their roster and their program, the evolution, again, of their game.
At Glensane, we know extra time is hard to come by. It's your lifestyle.
Talks about the fact that he hasn't thrown an interception in 240 plus attempts, which leads. He's super accurate, gets the ball out on time, can extend plays, and just a special player. And the part that stuck out to me was the physicality of both the offense and defensive lines, the speed on the field in their secondary, and actually their linebackers. Their linebackers run sideline to sideline. They're very active. I think
Mac Harris.
Disruptive defense they carry a very large menu into a game. They multiple fronts, multiple coverages. They do an excellent job, and they're a great football team.
I believe USF is a great. I don't know about great, but I think they're a good football team. And this isn't going off of because I made the video yesterday about USF, and I saw a lot of comments like, just because they beat Florida doesn't mean they're good. I watched every snap with them against Boise State, and I've watched every snap with them against Florida. I base my opinion off my eyes. I'm not going to lie and say I don't watch other stuff or listen to other people's opinions. I love to do that because I love to troll when people are wrong. But if I say I think a player is good, it's because I think a player is good. If I say I think a player sucks, it's because I've watched his film and I think that player sucks. If I think a team is good, it's because my two eyes have watched them and I think they're good. If I think I'm not worried about this team, it's because I have watched that team and I'm not worried about it. The thing that gives me worry about USF is their offense is set up to exploit a defense. And we've seen our defense against Notre Dame. We've seen our defense against Bethune-Cookman. I believe this will be a good test for our defense because you're going to have to tackle the quarterback, Byron Brown. This is a guy who knows the offense in and out, so he knows how to make quick decisions. I don't believe he can throw the ball deep accurately every time, which means, he may throw it deep 3 times and connect 1. He may throw it 6 times and one of those passes are perfect. The other ones are kind of low or a mistake. But when you're talking about short to intermediate and his running style, he's going to put you in conflict. So I'll say it again because I've watched I'm not going to say probably every snap of them because I watched the Boise State game and the Florida game, is that this is a offense that our defense will have to communicate, tackle, and be ready for.
Last year, if I'm not mistaken, I watched a ton of trick plays. Did they throw out whatever they could think of during that first half to not only stay in the game, they had the lead for a second in the first half?
Well, they hit us with some things, and really, we kind of got lucky. They didn't hit us with the onside kick. The one cover guy for them was offsides by a hair, but they, again, just a really good coaching staff, really good football team, just tons of athletes. They revamped the entire D-line in the portal. All 4 guys up front, are guys that came in, and they're all tough, physical, active dudes that have a lot of experience. So really good football team.
They got one guy named Schuler. I think he's number 7. I really like him a lot. But yeah, they one of the plays that really got them going against Boise State was they brought in their backup quarterback and put him at punter. And next thing you know, they run a fake, and the punter throws a beautiful pass, and I'm like, who the hell is this punter throwing the ball? They ended up scoring on Boise State. Turns out they had snuck their backup quarterback in, and it was a fake, and they ended up, after that play, they ended up just beating down Boise State. Against Florida, the only trickeration that I did see was they did kind of a misdirection, play a couple fakes here and then threw it deep. So maybe they got something in their bag for us. Our squad, they got to be ready because they've put enough trick plays on film to where the coaching staff should have them prepared. And then, of course, like Mario said, last year, they almost caught us with the onside.
So you got Florida after this.
And they hit us with the Philly special last year.
And everybody knows, all those guys know each other. And then Florida State's not too far away after a bye week.
We're not worried about Florida. We're not worried about Florida State right now, Joe. This week, we got South Florida coming in, USF, and we need to pack them boys up real quick. That's who we worried about, Joe.
How do you make sure your guys don't just go, hey, we just kicked Notre Dame's ass a couple weeks ago? Are you kidding me? And you walk out, we're the Canes, and they go out and play with that same passion that you did against Notre Dame.
Well, that's something that I think was since the day we arrived, we really want to stress being where your feet are, right? Understanding that in college football, every single week you play, humility is 1 week away, and everybody has good players. And if you don't prepare, you're going to get your butt kicked. In this particular case, there's absolutely nothing to say. This is as good of a football team as we have played or will play the entire season. And the evidence is all over the tape, So we practice a certain way, we prepare a certain way, and we got to get a hell of a lot better to accomplish the stuff we want to accomplish. And it started with practice this morning, meetings and whatnot, and we're going on from there.
And last year should be a great example for our squad. We started off on fire. And then we ended up losing to Georgia Tech. And then we ended up losing to Syracuse. We can't take anybody lightly. We have not earned the right to take teams lightly. We haven't earned that right. Now, when we start consistently beating ass, then I will entertain that. But we haven't earned that right yet.
Coach, I know early in the year, a lot of times you got a lot of guys, there's a lot of mental mistakes. You feel like you guys have really cut back on that from a year ago?
You know what? We've cut down on missed tackles. We've cut down a bunch on mental mistakes. Or, there's something that's to be said about continuity. And on offense, obviously, we've had continuity now going into our third year. And on defense, even though it's a fresh start on defense, the regiment, the structure, the teaching mechanisms that go with it, it advances quickly. And it's systematic. It's not you're not just grabbing at, whatever you feel you should, throw in there to help you be successful. It's very systematic, and it's very detail-oriented. So I think we've gained a lot of ground in that department. And I think one of the things that, and we better stay this way, we've made a lot of good decisions post-snap, like post-whistle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've had guys get their face mask grabbed, punched in the crotch, all that other stuff that happens in football, and not retaliate to get a dumb 15-yard penalty. So we're getting a lot better at the things that help you, play winning football.
I stand by this. The Notre Dame game, once Malachi Tony started whooping them boys, they started to get a little bit extra with Malachi. It wasn't just straight up blatantly dirty. My light just went out. Give me 1 second. It wasn't straight dirty, but it was to the point where if you are an undisciplined individual, you would retaliate. There was one time they're hitting JoJo. JoJo turned around. Round of applause. There was one time Tony Johnson and the defender was going right at it. So to Mario's credit, that is something that should be applauded, because we already know last year, Jacoby would have Jacoby would have slapped the mess out of you. Anyway, defensively, like I said, I'm excited for this opportunity, because I believe this week you're going against a veteran quarterback, a team that they pride themselves on offense, and we're going to really get to see how our linebackers and secondary do. Our defensive line, I'm cool with. I think y'all have showed us that y'all can be the strong point of this defense. Our linebacking core and our secondary will be tested this week, and I'm excited to actually see how they take this opportunity and what they do with it.
What's the biggest thing after 2 weeks you'd like to see even get better besides playing all these young guys and getting them some experience?
Communication, physicality, violence, and finish.
Violence.
Just talking to Baldy about it. He was raving, Brian Baldinger, about the way you guys, he said he wasn't surprised the way you played against Notre Dame with the physicals. That's the way you guys practice. You cutting back on practice, or does it still go pretty hard, or do you kind of read the room as far as injuries, or how do you treat that, Coach?
We have it. We have the season set up in phases where every 3 to 4 weeks you scale back on something without compromising, going good on good, and the physicality aspect that you have to work. Well, like you mentioned, while being smart, you can't play 3 games a week and then be at your best on Saturday. And even though early in the season, it's still there isn't much change as it relates to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but certainly Sunday and Monday are very different now in this part of the season.
Well, before I let you go, this Pringle kid, this running back, he looks like he got a chance to be a pretty good player. How'd you like the way he played?
Fast. Very, 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 very fast.
Oh, man, he's exactly what we saw on tape and what we had a chance to recruit all year. He's super explosive. He's got great lamps, man, great eyes. He can see it. He can feel it. He sets up his runs really well. He's really good in protection and catches the ball well also. So he is going to – we expect to be a great, great player here at the University of Miami.
Coach, thanks, man, as always, for coming on. And South Florida, 4:30, Hard Rock Stadium.
No problem, Joe. No problem, Joe. Hey, man, if y'all want to see the Joe Rose show, the link will be in the description. I'm out. Peace.